Hello friends, welcome to our channel. In this video, we will be introducing you with an Android Studio IDE. We will also discuss about its features, its user interface and about the facility provided by Android Studio. This will help you in understanding and designing Android application using Android Studio very easily. So let's start with the video. Android Studio is the official integrated development environment IDE for Android app development based on IntelliJ IDEA. On top of IntelliJ's powerful code editor and developer tools, Android Studio offers even more features that enhance your productivity when building Android apps, such as a flexible Gradle-based built-in system, a fast and feature-rich emulator, a unified environment where you can develop for all Android devices, apply changes to push code and restore changes to your running app without restarting your app, code templates and GitHub integration to help you build common app features and import sample code, extensive testing tools and frameworks, link tools to catch performance, usability, version compatibility and other problems, C++ and NDK support, built-in support for Google Cloud Platform, making it easier to integrate Google Cloud Messaging and App Images. Before we could start with the actual IDE, let's understand the interface which has been provided to us by an Android Studio and what all sections which are there in an Android Studio IDE. The first one is what toolbar. Most recently or most used tools which are there that we will be using most often is being provided to us in this toolbar. Next one will be the navigation bar. Navigation bar will help us in understanding the current file where we are working and what all its parent folder right from the root app folder. Next one will be the code editor window. In this window, it will help us to code our application. We can create the design of an application and we can also write the background code for the application. Next, we are being provided with this tool window bar. Using this tool window bar, we can open different tool windows which will help us in designing, debugging an application. Last one is the status bar. Status bar will let us know what is the current status of an application, like whether we are building an application, whether we are running an application, whether we are installing the application. If there is some bug in an application, it will show us in a status. So let's start with an IDE. On starting the IDE, the first thing that we will be seeing is the menu bar. Menu bar is being provided with all the options that will help us in developing an application, debugging an application and execution of an application. Like file menu is there. Using that you can open the projects which are already there. We can create the new projects. We can do the setting of an Android Studio. Then we can perform the AD facilities being provided. Using that we can perform cut, copy, paste and all other options. View facilities being provided to us. Using that we can display different two windows which are being provided to us. Navigate to and fro in an application, manage the coding, analyze, refactor, build an application, run an application, different tools which are being available for us that can be open or closed with the help of the tool menu which has been provided. We can perform the versioning control with this menu. Windows we can open. Help is been provided to us. Using that we can able to understand and develop an application. After menu bar, the next thing that is being provided to us is this toolbar. What they have done in this new version is that they have combined the navigation and the toolbar. So first that we can see is this navigation bar. In using this navigation bar, what we can able to see is that where we are currently right now, in which file we are currently working. Like in that file also, if you are going to a specific function or specific section, it will show us in this particular navigation bar. We can directly go to this particular in a navigation bar. We can click on the specific file or specific function. You will be seeing all underlying functionality or the folders or file which are within it. Like if you are clicking on this app, we will able to see all folders and files which are under this app folder, and we can directly click on that folder or file to go to that particular location. Then we are being provided with this build option. We can build an application with this particular build option. Window will open and it will show us the current building process. It will show us an error if there are certain, and using that we can solve that error. Building the application doesn't mean running an application. For running the application, we have to use this option which is provided to us. With this particular drop down facility, we can select the AVD if it has been installed, or the devices which are being connected through Wi-Fi or through a USB debugging mode, or we can create an new devices using device manager, and selecting the device and clicking on this run option, it will run the application. So in order to run the application, what we need to do is that we have to click on this device manager option and we have to run the device first. So it will also provide us with this emulator option over here. So using the emulator option, our device, a virtual device will be opened, and in this virtual device we can run our application. So this virtual device is being displayed over here, and we can select this virtual device and we will run the application. So when we will run the application, it will directly run in this particular device. It will completely, suppose that other old application is there, it will be replacing it and it will be running an application. The other option is also been provided to us, like apply changes and restart activity. This option has been provided when we have done changes in the coding, and also we have done the changes in some resources, and we want to apply that particular changes to an application which is running in an AVD without making an application stop. It will run an application in an AVD without making an application stop, but it will restart an activity. Okay, next option which is being provided to us is what? Apply code changes. So only if you are making the changes in the code, you are not making the changes in a resource file. So what we can do, we can apply the changes to an application without restarting an application or activity which is being displayed in an AVD. Then we are being provided with this debugging facility. Using that, we can debug an application. Suppose that we have run the application, we are getting the result, but we are not getting the intended result that we want. So we need to debug the application in order to find out the error, and we can solve that error, and we can see the intended result that we want. Then profiler is there to see our performance, like CPU utilization, processor utilization in it. Then using this we can stop an application. Then we are being provided with the syncing files, like some of the files are not being synced with a Gradle. So using this particular facility, whatever the files which are being left out will sync with a Gradle and we can run an application. Then this is the facility which is what device manager. So using this option we can open a device manager and we can create a device, we can run a device, we can manage the devices which are there or we have installed. HDK manager is used to manage the different APIs which is been provided to us. Using this HDK manager we can download the new APIs which been provided to us from an internet. We can install it and we can use that API. Then we are being provided with search and setting and the login to Google. Next is a code editor window. In this video, what we can do, we can write down the background code for an application. For now, we are using Java as a background language. So you can see that we can write down the background code in Java for an application, and on clicking an XML file, we can create a design for an application. So as you can see that when we are using this, when we are editing in this Java file, we have been provided with this editor window where we can write down the code, and when we are switching to the design, that is what XML file, we are provided with this GUI. Using this GUI we can design an application, like we have been provided with the components over here, so we can directly download, drag and drop down the components in this particular view and we can design an application. We are also being provided with these three options for designing an application, like someone wants to completely design the application using a code, like is what an XML code that he can write down and can design an application. So this is the facility where we can directly design an application completely using code. Then we are having a split option where the user can code also and can able to see whatever the designing which is which is being done on the right hand side of the window, like we are getting both the facility over here. And the last one is the design. Using this option we can completely design the application using the buttons which have been provided to us. Like if you want, we can drag down the button over here, then button will be there, and using this button, wherever he wants to place, he can place the thing. Even the attributes of the button will be listed over here, and whatever the like size, width, height, color and all, whatever the properties that we want to set for the button can also be set to this property window. Okay, next we will come to this particular option which has been provided to us on the left hand side of our Android Studio, which is this particular Windows toolbar. Using this Windows toolbar, what we can do, we can switch on to the different tool windows which is provided to us. The first one is what a project window. Using this, what we can do, we can see the different files which are available in our particular project, and we can open that particular file and we can edit it. Like in this project window, the first one is what app folder. In that app folder we are having a manifest folder, and in that manifest folder we are having a Android manifest.xml file. The Android manifest.xml file is what the configuration for an application. Each and every Android application will be having its own Android manifest file, and that will be the configuration for that particular application, like what all facility that he is using, like what all access that it is required, like camera access, memory access, internet access, then what is the label of an application, what is an icon for an application, round icon for an application, theme of an application, then what all activities which are there in an application, complete application, and which activity will be the launcher activity for an application. That all setting can be done using this particular Android manifest.xml. Next is what a Java folder, and in that Java folder we will be having a package folder, and in that we are having this Android main activity.java file, which is the start activity of an application, and in this we can write down the code for the background of a design file which is been created when we have created the activity, that is what activity main.xml. So whatever the components that we are placing over here and how that component will work, for that the background code can be written in this Java. Okay, then these are the test files which will be helpful for us in testing the application when we are testing it on a device. Then generated file, which is like the configuration file, will be having all information about the application. Next is what a resource folder. Resource folder will be having all the resources that we will be using in an application, like whatever the images that which are using, then whatever icons which are there, like normal icons or round icons. Suppose that someone had set the icon to a round one, so round icon can be fetched from here. Then different layouts, like whatever the design files that we are creating, all the design file location is there in this particular layout folder. So this activity main.file location is there in this layout folder. Then we are having MIP map. MIP map is the where we will be storing all the different icon versions or variants, we can say, that will be helpful for us when we are launching or designing the application for different sizes of mobile. Next is what a values. Values is what, suppose that whatever the colors that we will be using in an application, that all colors can be mentioned over here. If you want to add some new colors, that too can be mentioned it with a name, and we can access that color, or we can apply to color to anything like font or any background or any tool by just accessing the name of that color that we have given in this XML file, colors.xml. Then string.xml file is also available for us. Using that we can also place down the strings which will be commonly used in an application. We can provide a big string with some name to that particular string, and with that name we can access the string in an application. Next is what we can design a complete theme, like whatever the theme that we want to provide to an application, that what will be the look for an application, what will be the title bar that will be there, then what will be color of a font, then supporting tools color, what it will be, bar color, what it will be. So default colors are being provided to us that can be changed to the color that we want to apply as a theme for an application. So it is been provided with two themes, like night theme and the day theme, like dark version or a lighter version that can be created using this particular option. So this resource can also be managed through this resource manager tool which has been provided to us. So all the drawable resource means what the image files, then colors, layout, MIP map, strings, navigation that we have seen right now, that can be managed through this resource manager also. Then we are having this Gradle script. Gradle script, we can say it is an advanced toolkit when it comes to the Gradle, it is like an advanced build toolkit to automate and manage the build process while allowing you to define the flexible custom build configuration. Each build configuration can define its own set of code and resources while using the parts common to all versions of Sphere. Next that we will be seeing is like a structure. Like suppose that we are working in this main activity.java file. So we can see the structure of that particular file in this particular window. Then favorite, suppose that if we want to make some part as a bookmark or favorite section in a particular big application, so that can be done by clicking over here. And we can add a bookmark to it. So whenever we want to go to that section, we can directly go to this particular window and tool window, and we can see the bookmarks that we have done, and clicking on it we can directly jump to that particular location. Okay, next one is what the build variant. So build variant is like whenever we want to create the different versions of an same application, like there will be a free version and there will be a paid version. So that can be created and managed using this particular tool options which have been provided to us. I hope now you have gone through the complete video. You have got a basic idea how to use an Android Studio. Using this video, you can able to design your first Android app. If you haven't designed your first app, refer to my video that I have already created for designing the first application in Android. Stay connected with us for more videos on Android. Thank you.